This is the COO of WWE, Triple H, The Game, and you're listening to the Regular Season Sportscast.
Say hello to my little friend.
Hello, you already know who it is. It is that bitch, okay? Leti La Loca. And you're listening to the Regular Season Sportscast.
I'll be back.
Okay?
This is John Rondo, a.k.a. El Chorizo, and you're listening to the Regular Season Sportscast.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
What better way to play you in with the most beloved music now in WWE?
If they were on Facebook Live, they could see me dancing, shaking it in the seat.
Yeah. Do the intro for them.
Don't you dare be sour. Clap for the world famous John Rondo and feel the power.
You just made my hair stand.
Oh, I'm standing all right. At attention, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
The bearded one himself. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of a special edition of TRSS. That's right, friends. We are here for TRSS Intermissions. And with this intermission, we are bringing you our WrestleMania 32 review. And I'm talking about everything. The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the hards, the softs. I went a little bit too far there.
I'm pretty hard.
That's all right. Thanks. Thanks for sharing. I want to let everybody know that, once again, you could get an episode of this at rageworks.net. Make sure you get it at rageworks.net, as well as on iTunes and on Stitcher. And this will be a YouTube exclusive. I know a lot of guys have been asking, when you always promoting YouTube, but when you going to put something out there? Well, it's out there now, bitches. It'll be up there 2 nights. You get to hear the lovely, lovely voices of myself and the man sitting across from me, the bearded one, El Chorizo, John Rondo. Say hello to the people, Mr. Rondo.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, yes, Mr. Rondo. You have the voice that soothes 1,000 beasts.
It's like silk in the ears.
Oh, it's just. Let me just play that music again. Playing that New Day music, everybody. You get to hear it later on once you download the episode and hear it on YouTube. All right, enough of that shit. I want to thank you guys for being a part of the Facebook viewership. And usually I would cut you guys off after 20 minutes or so, but I just might keep you on a little bit longer because I want to see what you guys have in store, what you guys want to talk about. And if you guys want to share, have any questions, want to be a part of the conversation, be sure to be on John Rondo's page, which he shared it on his page.
I definitely did.
And you can look at it on my page. You can ask questions as well. So, yeah, man. So how's it going?
With me? I'm not too bad. Back's a little stiff.
Yeah.
But that's because, I swallowed Viagra yesterday. Good stuff.
A little?
No, it's like 3 pills, man.
Oh.
It's just,
And
it takes a lot.
And it's still, that's not going to go down until maybe like June.
It's one of those seasonal things. It's just like 3 months.
Are you seeing Smurfs now or something?
No. More like, what were the other ones? The snorkels?
The snorks? You're watching the snorks?
Yeah. It's like the bootleg.
Yeah, that'll wear off soon.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I hope so. Because it's about to get real warm, tighter clothes, and it's not fun.
And it's going to get weird.
And it's
anytime soon. And the reason why I had brought my man, Mr. Rondo Associates, first of all, I got to tell you, I met this individual through House of Glory, and I met him through other events, but I also had partaken in a lot of his Facebook posts, and I swear to you, he is possibly one of the funniest guys on Facebook. That's not a comedian. And even comedians are not as funny as this guy.
I don't know about that. I mean, I just put it out there. It's what travels in my brain. And instead of spewing it through my mouth, I do it through my fingers.
Have you ever been through therapy before?
No. Facebook is my therapy. I actually did. They charge me $110 a month.
Oh,
You know.
yeah. We should talk. We should talk to Zuckerberg about that.
Mm-hmm.
And with your vast knowledge of not only of what goes on in everyday society, you are a man of many wisdoms and knowledge when it comes to wrestling. You have. You're studious.
The verdict is still out there.
It's still in the wind.
It's still out there.
It's still in the wind. But I figured I bring you in because you have the draw, the mass appeal, and of course you have the beard.
Are you trying to? You trying to say I'm fat?
No.
Listen, I'm pleasantly plump.
I would look for the word voluptuous.
Okay, I'll go with that word.
It's
a good word.
Yeah, voluptuous. So for this episode, we are going to give you guys a rundown of our take of what went down this past week and such in wrestling. And wrestling, we mean WWE. Because remember, wrestling is not the be-all, end-all unless you make it to the main roster of WWE.
Wait, did something happen this weekend?
Yeah, there was like this thing that goes on. It's like a lot of people watch it. And then complain about it afterwards.
Oh, okay, that one.
That
Got it.
one,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah. Where you
that
go on
one.
the internet, and everybody's like, it
Oh,
sucks.
it sucks. I hate you, WWE.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly. Why do you exist? Blah, blah, whatever. So we had a whole rundown of wrestling from WWE this week. So while I give you guys a rundown, I think I'll steal this from my boy, Josie's boy, and his Call Me When It's Over show. I'll give you the rundown with a little bit of back music. Back music with it. Woo. So what we're going to do is we're going to run down NXT Dallas, the takeover. Going to give some notes on the Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about Mania itself. And we're going to give you our thoughts on the Raw after Mania, which now it's like it seems like to be the bigger show than Mania itself.
Absolutely. Everybody looks forward to the Raw after WrestleMania. Sometimes even the Raw after SummerSlam too.
Yeah.
So the Raw after the big pay-per-views is a big drawing for everybody.
I'm actually looking to possibly not get SummerSlam tickets that I'm most likely want to get.
Just the Raw tickets.
Just the Raw tickets. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's gonna be my look.
And the NXT tickets, because NXT will blow it out of the water.
I forgot about that. Damn you, WWE, for wanting to take my pockets over.
Take all of my money.
Take all of my money.
Here's my Amex card information.
you
3717.
Bitches, you. So let's go into the lead story, which will be your just thoughts of the WrestleMania weekend in a whole. Just the whole thing in a whole.
For me, I thought, we had the NXT show, which was absolutely phenomenal. I thought it was great.
Right.
From beginning to end, everybody was drawn in. I was drawn in. Amazing. We had WrestleMania, which I love. I think I loved it. I see where a lot of people had some issues, especially with how long the pay-per-view went on. And I feel like by the end of the show, a lot of people had so much energy drawn out of them that they couldn't even concentrate on the last match. But I thought it was good overall. And then the Raw, where you just had the mass exodus from Florida to Dallas.
It's funny
amazing.
because I had my thoughts with NXT Dallas being the takeover was just each card. It's funny because and when we talk about it, a card in which people may not agree with me, which everybody would say was actually a good match, I'll probably have to put it lower tier. But it's because there was so many good matches that night. Hall of Fame was the Hall of Fame.
Oh, of
I actually
course.
thought it was the better class this year. A lot of people had their doubts about it, but it was a very Texas
I
heavy.
enjoyed it. Yep.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
WrestleMania, lengthwise, you can never be disappointed with length.
Hey.
As long as it has mass and girth, it's fine.
There's a verdict out there, I mean, it's more important around than it is long.
Yeah, the measurement.
And that's what I'm going with.
The measurement of time.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And as well as you should. And finally, for Raw, I I've seen better Manias after Raw, but like you said, it was very heavy.
Raw's after Mania.
Well, Raw. Well, I'll fix that.
We'll fix that in editing.
But Raw after Mania, the entertainment factor wasn't there, but which came later on. But through it all, but it was more of the what's in store coming up,
Right.
which was
I feel like it was a good introduction because the show after WrestleMania for me is like the new season.
right,
Like, this
which
is
is
where we
supposed
get
to be.
right. This is where we get to show off the new stuff. This is where we get to start new stories and start new gimmicks and new dynamics. Add new dynamics to the show as to where before. See, the problem is before they would hide one big surprise.
Right.
Everything was the continuation after WrestleMania. You had all your rematches, which if you look at the card for the next pay-per-view, rumored card, it's actually not that many rematches from WrestleMania, which is good.
Yeah, which we'll get
amazing.
into in a
right.
minute. Right.
But it's supposed to be the new season, the new start, we start new stories, we start new stuff. So I feel like it was great in that sense because you had a bunch, a couple new guys show up, some new storylines throwing out there, and just start fresh.
Yeah, and I thought that with the face of the company possibly changing, this is a subtle way to start kicking it off, and a good way to kick it off was that Friday night with NXT Takeover Dallas. Let me just say, for all you douchebags out there who were upset that and I'm pointing to you people on Facebook, you internet lovers, you. For all you people who are upset that that Apollo Crews didn't make the main show, it's okay. He got his just givens, come Monday.
Oh, he did.
Oh yeah, there was a post that someone put up there. It was like, oh, how racist, they didn't put the black guy on NXT Takeover.
That's the biggest thing for me is let the show happen. You don't know what's going to happen next month. And some people, here's my biggest gripe is, oh, it's so predictable. It's so predictable. But then you have the guys that are like, oh, this didn't happen. That didn't happen. And then 2 weeks later, something bigger happens. So then it really wasn't that predictable, was it? Right. So it really wasn't that predictable now, was it?
So not to, I just want to let you guys know, we're not gonna do match by match type shit. That's not the type of show we run here. That's not that. I would like to just give more overview and feelings of cards and matches. I'm not gonna give you a general rundown, but the taxi match. I mean, for it to be the curtain jerker of the night, I just got to tell you that I love those guys. I love Gable. I even love the Revival. Those guys are awesome. For it to open the night, I actually thought it was a real pleasant surprise to see them start off.
It was a good way to start the show because it paced the energy of the show. It's like anything. You have the drummer who in any music band who determines the pace of the song. Anything. Those guys determine the pace of the show, and from that beginning to the end of the show, it was the same pace all the way through.
Right.
So you watch Jordan and Gable any night. I love those guys. Gable can do no wrong by me. He's amazing in the ring. Those guys are charismatic. They have a great look. The whole nine. The Revival are straight old school, like as old school as they can come. And you can hear people comparing them to the Minnesota Stretching Crew.
Right.
Just Ole and Arn straight through. Those guys are students of the game. So for them to open the show and dictate the pace of the show was perfect for me.
I thought that that both teams who hadn't faced each other at all in a tag match, for them to put it together on that night was something that a lot of teams and a lot of workers need to acknowledge, that you don't always have to have a continuous program, but just know that chemistry can happen at any moment. It could work.
And you have to recognize it too.
Yeah.
It takes talent to recognize the chemistry that's in a match and say, hey, we're going to use this and keep it moving.
Right. What was your thoughts about Austin Aries being on NXT?
Oh, well, from everything that I've heard about Austin Aries, that He's kind of hard to work with. Whatever the rumors may be, I don't care. I love Austin Aries. I think he's one of those people that lives the gimmick,
Right.
which I love. I don't care what anybody says. That's something that's rare to find in the wrestling world today. So for him to live the gimmick and for him to be there, he's a great talent, I think. In my opinion, he's great. He's sound in the ring, and he can get the crowd over. If you see him ever see him work in the match and him trying to pump the crowd up, he knows how to do it, and he's great at it. I think he's a great addition.
I always felt, even for years, when Punk decided to walk away.
Who?
Phil Brooks and his
that UFC guy.
Yeah, you Phil Brooks. Yeah,
hasn't even had a match yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm betting he will get hurt his first night out. But when he walked away, although it's not the same, but to me it's the same. That if you would slide Aries in, you would probably not really miss the guy. I really thought that you wouldn't really miss the guy. I think he was a good fit to go in. And for him to come in at NXT, the problem with a lot of people that I'm having issues with, especially, and I'm sorry that I pay attention to the internet, but you guys are fucking assholes.
It pisses me off so much. Me and my friend Joey, cheap plug, but we talk about it all the time, how much we hate the internet because they just ruin it for everybody. You know what I mean? It's
I had a discussion with that. Yeah,
I
had a discussion with that with Josie's boy himself, and he's like, the internet has made me not hate wrestling, but just hate the fans that watch wrestling.
It's ridiculous. And I started becoming one of those people, and I say, you know what? I'm going to sit back, not read a lot of the stuff that they put out there, and then just enjoy the show for myself.
Right.
And I realized that I enjoy it a lot more when I watch it through my eyes and not listening to what anybody else says.
Yeah. And I think when it came to the idea of an Austin Aries coming through, or a Nakamura coming through, or just Samoa Joe, everybody. I
possibly Bobby Roode.
Possibly, Mr. Oh, which another one which I've been pining for years.
El Hijo de Triple H.
The tests haven't proved. Maury hasn't, but Maury hasn't gotten that episode down yet. But the first buzz I'm hearing is, oh, I thought NXT was to produce future stars. Where are all these vets coming in? And I'm like, douches. A rookie can't help a rookie along. You need that vet element in there. You need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's no way that you're going to see two rooks go at it and you're going to see a superstar build. It doesn't happen that way.
It's such a bittersweet thing because you have those guys coming in, and then you have somebody like AJ Styles, who everybody's been lobbying for years to come in. He finally comes in, and once again, here we go with the internet. Oh, they're burying him. They're burying AJ. They're burying. People don't understand the concept, number one, of bury, okay? Because if somebody is on the main event or even on TV in general, I don't really think they're getting buried now, are they?
I don't understand it at all.
I mean, you're on a show when there's people that don't even make the main show. Fandango.
Yeah.
And and you're saying he's getting buried, but he's getting TV time. 1, 2, he's selling the most merchandise in the company right now, besides John Cena, who's still selling ridiculous merchandise. But you have those guys, and they're like, oh, we want AJ. AJ finally comes in. He's getting buried. So you get somebody like Bobby Roode who comes in, and they're like, oh, where's this guy coming from TNA? Last time I checked, AJ came from TNA.
Right.
Just because he was in New Japan and made a bigger star of himself.
Right. And it kills me because it always turns out to be you hear those and to the popular group page that's out there on Facebook and has a big YouTube following. I'm not going to mention it by name, but What Culture. For you guys to use a terminology as AJ job to Jericho at Mania, kill yourself. Seriously. And not in a physical sense, but in career wise. That you need to stop using words that you don't know what they mean. Stop it. It just kills me for that.
You have Jericho, who I don't care what anybody says about Chris Jericho. Oh, sorry, Jericho. I don't care what anybody says about Jericho. He's one of the greatest performers to step into the WWE ring. Even WCW, when he was in WCW. I loved him. Everybody loved him. For one, I know that Jericho didn't want to do it. But to put himself over as a heel, he had to do it. He had to go over AJ Styles to set up. You don't know where the story's going.
Yeah, you don't know where
you don't know where the
it's
story goes. AJ Styles got buried. I'm sorry. Who's number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship right now? That's the thing that bothers me is let the story play out. Because if you don't let the story play out, you're going to be sitting there looking like an idiot the next day.
And as for the vets coming in, we got Shinsuke Nakamura who came in and had an introductory match. It was an exhibition with Sami Zayn. It was an exhibition match. It was just a throwaway match. It didn't really matter. Who cares? I mean, really, come on. I mean, it wasn't really that. But
I saw more elbows in that match than I've heard in a Ludacris song. Just saying. It's the amount of elbows and knees that were thrown in that match. I just want to... You know what? I'm going to watch the match again tonight and count how many times an elbow or a knee was thrown. And we'll see. I'll have that many shots and see if I don't die.
I mean, I just have to say that many people are saying match of the year, probably for WWE standards, NXT standards, probably for that. Because to me, I still have Nakamura versus AJ Styles in Wrestle Kingdom was. I mean, wow.
Let's have a moment of silence.
Yes, and we're back because dead air is not good for a podcast.
Never.
But that I consider as one of the hair standing for 2016 alone. But for this night on NXT, for those who didn't know who Nakamura was, they know now.
Now you know.
Now they know. The only thing that bothers me is once again, the internet comes in and you got a lot of people who come in and they go, "Oh, what's with the whole gay stuff?" It's like, ugh. Stop.
That was my biggest gripe, and number one, it was by people who have never stepped into New Japan territory before, so they don't even know who Nakamura is. They just jump right on the hype, and they don't know what his deal is. So I had somebody on Facebook say the same thing to me. And not to me, but on their status, and they're like, "Oh, what's his deal? Is he supposed to be fabulous?" And I'm like, "You shut your filthy mouth. Shut your filthy mouth, because you have no idea what you're talking about." And Shinsuke Nakamura will beat the crap out of everything you believe in. The people don't know. And I was reading an article about him where he's saying that he didn't draw his influence from. Obviously, he drew his influence from Inoki and all these guys that was, the king, being the king of strong style, but his character influence was Freddie Mercury and, like that. So you could see it.
By the way, greatest lead man of all.
Greatest vocalist of all time.
I always think, vocalist,
everything. He was overall genius.
We could go on a tangent.
Oh,
about
yeah,
that,
totally.
But the whole Nakamura thing is that I sit there and I'm watching it and I'm trying to relate to people with the whole, appreciate the wrestling and then appreciate what comes with it, with the gimmick or with the personality. And with him, it's just the package. It's like I said, you guys are sit there and love Prince. You love his music.
Oh yeah, totally.
You love his music. You even love the whole, the androgyny of him.
Everybody loves Queen, right?
Yeah.
And Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't say anything about him.
Hell, shit, you still go, freaking do a Gold Dust promo when you need to. But Nakamura really weirded you out the first night.
Really? Like, what are you talking about?
The women's match. What you thought about the women's match?
Which one? The Total Divas match? Or
No, I'm talking about for NXT. The
NXT match. Oh, Bayley and Asuka. For me, I love Asuka. She's good, but I think after a while, it just kind of gets one-dimensional for me. I'm sorry, that's just the way I think.
Right.
Not taking anything away from her talent or whatever have you, but Bayley's my boo, and she lost, and I was very upset. But again, not being that person who reads the internet or does any of that, who knows what's in store for her next?
Call up. Yeah.
You never know. You never know. Now with the changing of from divas to women's, you got the Total Women's show coming on the E Network at some point, right?
And since finally we're starting to see the movement happening in the women's division. Because now it's the women's division. It's not, the Divas Revolution. It's the women. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But we're seeing that happen. We could open the floor at NXT of who is going to be the next wave of women that come in. I see Awesome Kong. She's available. Can we get her in?
Let's bring her in. There's a whole roster they have at Shimmer that's completely amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that they can totally bring to NXT. But I think, so we had, usually they come in threes from NXT to Raw. So that's the thing. They had Eva Marie who came in, the red hair extraordinaire.
What's your thoughts about her?
The red hair extraordinaire, Eva Marie. She, here's the thing about somebody like Eva Marie. Everybody kind of, what are these guys saying on Facebook? Anyway,
you check your.
So everybody kind of shit on her, that she can't wrestle, all this stuff. She's a person who didn't get over as a babyface, took all the boos and said, you know what, let's make it work as a heel. And she's getting booed out of the building, and made it work for her. The thing that pisses me off now is that they brought her back as a face, kind of like, oh, here's the face of Total Divas again. Here, look at this big red thing in your face. Here you go.
And I think that the heat that she gets, regardless if you consider it X-Pac heat, for you guys who don't know, it's like, look it up. I don't even want to go into it anyway. But if it's whatever heat she gets, it's heat. It's like any bad advertising or any bad press is still good press because you're out there. So just get it. Even if she goes out there and the WWE universe is sitting there saying, don't force us down our throats like you do in Roman. Well, don't force Eva Marie down my throat, but she could sit on my face.
Oh, absolutely. Nah, I wouldn't mind having a force down my throat. I'm kind of into that thing. So, Eva Marie, if you're out there, please call me.
Anyway, it's still a thing in which that she's there. She makes a presence. She's working, and it's going to be a tale in which, like you said, in the longevity, if she can't put in the work, she won't be there.
But here's the thing about her also is that they brought her in as eye candy back when they started doing the whole Total Divas thing. She was total eye candy. She herself said, because she was getting a lot of persecution from people in the back, she said, what can I do to better myself? She went over and said, I want to go back down to NXT and learn the basics. She took herself over to Spanky, Brian Kendrick, to train to actually become a wrestler herself.
Right.
She did that on her own dime.
Not in the performance center.
Nobody told her she had to do it. Nobody said, you have to go over there and train. She herself said, what can I do to be better? And took herself down to Florida and to Spanky to go train. You have to respect that.
Yeah, and
you have to respect that.
And just to wrap it up and fold, it's still a thing where you guys want women's wrestling. You're not going to sit there and go back to the 80s. And I'm sorry, the 80s did not have lookers. I'm just telling you right now. No, they did. If you're going to tell me Wendy Richter was the looker of that age.
I don't think I have enough beers in this fridge over here.
I'm going to drink out of my own toilet bowl to get that taste out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
There's not enough
Wendy,
Jameson in the world.
You're a Hall of Famer. More power to you. But you're a good 6 on a good day. you're a high 6 on a good day.
A solid. Nah, she's a solid 5.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 with Jameson shot, but a solid 5 nonetheless.
But to close out NXT takeout. Matter of fact, I'm hungry.
Is that a Shinsuke Nakamura thing? NXT takeout.
Maybe. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Call me Shinsuke. To close it out, we had the NXT Championship match with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, which started out ugly early.
It did.
And I gotta tell you, I get it. Early on, there was blood spewing. It was out there, and accidental, if it is, whatever the case may be. And the pacing in the match got thrown off. I still think that the fans don't get the understanding of how WWE and NXT works. Although you're crying for PG sucks or let them bleed or whatever the case may be, they still want to protect their wrestlers because it's an investment. It's an investment.
That's the biggest gripe I have is a lot of people. Again, I'll go a little bit back into Jericho. He's one of the smartest workers in the business. Everybody's saying he's slow. He's so slow. People like him are protecting themselves. You got to be on the road 300 days a year. It's not, you know what? Not to shit on any of these indie guys because I'm not, because they work hard. All these guys work hard. But some of them don't see 300 days a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And these guys are working 300 days a year, sleepless, haven't seen their homes, nothing, not even getting an inch of rest. And they have to protect their own bodies. So WWE also wants to somehow, even though a lot of people might not agree with this, they want to somehow protect their guys too.
Right.
So they have to do those. They have to put those measures in motion to, again, make sure that the guys are okay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, somebody gets hurt and it's like, oh my God, he's hurt again. It's like, but you guys wanted blood. You guys wanted fucking hardcore matches. You want them. You want to see them in the dark shows, right? Well, this is what happens.
Or you have a Bob Orton moment where all of a sudden you have Hep C and now you don't know what to do.
Oh no! I thought you was gonna go with the whole the cast for 2 years.
Oh, okay. Oh no, that was like 8 years running.
Yeah.
Cast.
Yeah. Just
I
like
think I have a cast.
like Iron Mike Sharp. all in all, I'll give you the rundown of what I thought by match. I thought was from greatest to lowest. Nakamura Zayn was 1. The tag team match for me was 2. I thought it's tough because I got to give it to Baron Corbin. He did hold his own somewhat in that match with Aries. I'll go 3. I was upset with the championship match because of the pacing was thrown off. Was 4, and the women's match, like you said,
it kind of something was lacking in that women's match. I don't know what it was. It wasn't Bayley's fault,
right?
And I feel like it wasn't Asuka's fault either. But I feel like they really didn't have a lot of time to build that rivalry up. Like, yes, they did every so often where like Asuka would smile at her like I'm taking a belt, but I feel like there wasn't a huge build to that match. Like,
so what would be your rundown for it?
I'll agree with the same thing. To tell you the truth, I'll agree with the same thing. Again, just the Samoa Joe and Finn Balor match. Don't complain because the pacing was off. It wasn't their fault.
It wasn't their fault. It just happened.
And then Samoa Joe not going over. That was another thing. Oh, Samoa Joe lost. Again, let it play out.
Yeah, let it play out.
Let it play out because you don't know where it's going.
So let's go into the next segue of
Oh my God!
the Hall of Fame. Holy, we're not gonna be on here for too long because that thing was 5 hours in itself.
I got my fanny pack on.
I mean, and I appreciate what WWE does for the honorees for the Hall of Fame. They just let them talk, let it go. And the biggest example was years ago was Mr. T when he came in. My mother.
I love my mama. Give your mama a hug tonight.
I was trying to give the over and under who was going to get the hour mark, and I think Stan Hansen almost hit it.
But you know what? That guy has stories for days.
Yeah, he does.
He's one of those people I would love to pick his brain for even just 10 minutes. That guy just...
The last episode for the WrestleMania preview, you spoke about that when you were coming in as a wrestler. You were going to take the moniker as a Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that quickly.
Right. Oh, so when I was younger, I did, this stupid stuff in the park. And I was just, somebody had told me, hey, watch this guy. He's really good. So I started watching Stan Hansen stuff, videos just like him in Japan and stuff like that. This was before we had the illustrious WWE Network, Cheap Plus.
That you could get at $9.99 right now. You could get the first pay-per-view for free.
Can I get a free month? And, he tells me, watch this guy Stan Hansen. I start watching him, and he's just this brash, just in-your-face cowboy. And I just got attracted to that whole cowboy-style gimmick to the point where I was going to be Jack Hansen, like the Lariat Jack Hansen. Like that was going to be my gimmick because I just love the guy so much. He'd come out and just beat the crap out of you.
Right.
Because he's half blind.
Those are always. Listen, we'll go into stories.
And apparently, so is Vader.
I love. Now he is. Now he is. But those are like those are the moments and why I love to watch the Hall of Fame, because we get to hear stories like that. Fast forward to when the Freebirds their induction. Mind you, I've already heard the stories before. I've heard it in shout out to Stone Cold Podcast. I've heard it there before, and let me tell you, out of all inductees this year, I was more pleased to see the Freebirds in. I was waiting for that, and I understood why they weren't in for so long, because in subtle ways, Michael P.S. Hayes explained, I'm always in trouble. Like, he's always in trouble with that with WWE. And for a guy to always be in trouble and still have a job, that's
absolutely. But
something.
that just shows how much of a talent and how much he's contributed to the sport of wrestling, because it is. And it's just one of those things where Michael P.S. Hayes was great on the mic. He knew how to work. He knew how to work a crowd, which is the biggest thing. And if anybody who wants to be in the business wants to learn how to work a crowd, the Freebirds were the best, especially with the Von Erichs,
right,
who were so over in Texas. Like, the biggest things in Texas that you could, if you were a Von Erich, you were treated like royalty down south.
Yeah,
and for the Freebirds to come in against the Von Erichs and still get the kind of reaction that they got, and for P.S. Hayes to come out and do all those promos and everything that he did, you could just tell that he was a talent from the beginning.
And guys, if you don't know, the WWE Network has it. If you do have the network, WCCW, the best and word, the best of, and the story of, it's compelling, because they didn't need, the country to be fans. They had one state in which they had in their hands, and the Von Erichs had it, and then for them to bring in a team from Georgia to be the constant heels and the antagonists, it just put everything. I mean, they were selling out, sell out stadiums for these matches. It's insane. And to see the Freebirds come in, I even forgot that I thought that Michael P.S. Hayes was going to do it alone. I forgot that Jimmy Jam Garvin was still alive.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. But by the way, it was funny that they were winded.
They're so blown up.
Jeez. And by the way, to emulate, if you guys have not seen it yet on Facebook live feed, Mr. Rondo himself has the fanny pack. He has the fanny pack, ladies and gentlemen.
I do.
Shout out to P.S.
It is a very versatile piece of equipment.
Do you wear it in the front, the side?
I wear it to the side. I feel it's a lot more comfortable on the side here. Just a little pouch stuff. Yeah, I can have all my stuff in here, my keys. My
is there any
lip balm?
Is there any attachments that might be a surprise for someone to know that's in there?
No
Besides your Viagra pills?
No comment.
No Viagra pills?
No comment.
Okay.
I am Colombian after. No comment.
I'll leave it at that. Something's vibrating in that bag.
Oh, wait, what? Well, let me shut it. All right. No, we're good.
There we go. So, we, like I said, the whole rundown on House of Glory. That's soon. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We'll talk about that. But the Hall of Fame, who was the inductee that you felt was worthy? Not worthy, just say more that you felt was accepting of it. Like they actually acknowledged and felt that they were in there. Like, to me, I when I saw Sting go in, I heard him like, wow, I actually am a fucking WWE Hall of Fame when he did his. Like, he's like, shit, I'm here. After all the years that I've basically disregarded WWE, they actually let me in.
Which is cool, because for somebody to not step foot into a WWE ring and then make his last year of his career in the WWE, just like in 3 matches that he had, and then be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's just something that WWE recognizes what he brought again to the wrestling business. And if you don't know what Sting has brought into the wrestling business besides what he's done in TNA or what he's done in the last 3 matches he had in WWE, there's the WWE Network. Take some time to look up him versus Ric Flair, which was some of the, and that's why Ric Flair inducted him, because him and Ric Flair had some of the greatest feuds in NWA and WCW that you will ever. And the last episode of WCW, the last match on WCW
was their match?
was Sting versus Ric Flair, even though neither of them wanted to do it.
Right.
And they said, no, the last match on WCW has to be Sting versus Ric Flair because that rivalry was what defined the WCW.
Who do you think was like most appreciative of being inducted?
Honestly,
in the Hall of Fame?
the one person that I thought that when he went up there, and everybody's gonna laugh, when he went up there and did the speech and said was kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually here, was the Godfather.
Yeah.
Because he sat up there, he was like, I can't believe, like, in this PG era of things that are going on, I can't believe they actually put a pimp in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Which honestly, they actually did, if you want to technically put it, they actually put two because who I thought was most appreciative was Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I didn't, don't even get me started on Snoop Dogg. I don't even think he knew where he was.
But I actually, when he acknowledged Sasha as his cousin, because, you know, there was always that, you know, people, they never really talk about it. But when he acknowledged it and of how he brought her in 2008 and to see her face up there, you could tell that he was feeling emotional about it. It was a good thing. And for them to really acknowledge him to be in the Hall of Fame, a lot of people sit there and goes, well, you know, he does this. He's a gangster rapper. He smokes weed. He does all this stuff. Just remember, there's a lot of porn stars that's in a lot of criminals that's in the Hall of Fame now.
Right. Especially
so Snoop is no exception.
You know, one that jumped off the top of a cage.
Oh, that's.
And, did that happen? Is that erased yet?
No. That's not erased yet. He's still there.
Okay.
But
you know, you say a certain word, you get erased from history. But you kill somebody, no, you're still there.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. But I thought he was the most appreciative of all inductees in the Hall of Fame.
Probably because he didn't expect to make it in, and then they were just like, "Yeah, we're gonna honor you with this," and he was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
thanks.
Damn, okay.
I'm actually gonna get dressed up for this.
All
one.
right. I'm gonna do my hair.
Overall, what's your thought of the Hall of Fame?
I liked it, dude. Again, to see Stan Hansen go in there is just a dream of mine. I've been for years saying, "Where's Stan Hansen? Where's Stan Hansen? Why isn't Stan Hansen in the Hall of Fame?" And now he's in, and it's not a thing of, "Oh, Stan Hansen's in the Hall of Fame. There's no real Hall of Fame." No, what it does for me is it puts his face out there, so people are like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And the one person who was like me before in the day, where somebody said, "Oh, you should watch this guy's stuff." Now somebody else is gonna go and say, "Oh, who's this guy, Stan Hansen? Look him up," and then recognize his talent and recognize the work that he did for and what he put for the business. You know.
By the way, just to backtrack, I got a question here from my boy Richard Brentley, who's asking, who do you think that Bobby Roode is gonna feud with in NXT?
That's hard. Honestly, Bobby Roode is the type of person that they would have to put up to the top immediately. He's a veteran. He's one of these guys that I don't see them putting the strap on him right away, but I see them making a lot of these guys work with him to build them up a little further into business and get them ready for everything else. He's a long-time veteran, so he will be really good at that teacher spot where he would bring these guys up and teach them the ropes, pretty much.
Now, and no disrespect to anybody else who got inducted this year for the Hall of Fame, like the Big Boss Man, Jack, and all that. Big shout out to you guys. It's just, I don't have a lot of time for that. I gotta close it out. So you guys, just give us a second. We'll be back. I have to use the little boys' room. I'm sorry. I didn't want to throw the X. I'll let you guys go. For you guys who are watching on Facebook, keep watching. We'll be back. Just give it about 5 minutes. We'll be back. And I'll play something for you guys who are listening on the podcast and YouTube. Ooh. See you guys in a minute.
You are a wrestling fan and you're mad at the product now. Your favorite wrestler's hurt or he's not getting over. You get so mad that you even yell at the referee. You blame Vince or creative that the show sucks. You go on Twitter and troll by sending out negative tweets, saying you'll never watch wrestling again, and you will. Wrestling groups have banned you because you're mad and bitter. You cry the indies are much better, but never been to a show. If you're a wrestling fan, I say sorry. You watch a divas match for their bodies. If you're a wrestling fan, I say sorry. Yeah, I know that they let you down, but watch the old stuff on the network now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know that they let you down, but watch the old stuff on the network now.
I don't know. Every time I hear this, I think of you. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know. I think
Is it because I look Samoan?
No, I just think that every time you would come into a bar, this is the music that should be playing.
It's actually more Heaven is a Place on Earth by Belinda Cara. That's just, that's a story of the past that I don't want to talk about right now.
We're fancy.
Maybe, this place called, this group I used to be in called Pretty in Pink. But that's besides the point. How are you?
It's fabulous.
We're back from intermission.
By the way, the halftime, so the song that I played, you were hysterical laughing.
Oh, it's amazing. I loved it.
I
need a copy of that. I want to make it my ringtone forever.
You got to hear the other ridiculous songs I've done on here. Also, are we getting your notes? Are we hitting the notes that show the people that you notes the notes that you have for the show?
Oh, right here.
Yeah,
Look.
show.
Well, we got. I have like 2 pages of stuff here.
Are we hitting it?
Oh, we totally are. But I thought we were gonna do a match breakdown, which is great that we're not, because we don't have that kind of time and I don't have that kind of attention span. So we didn't even get to like half of these things, like Brock and Ambrose, which I want to kind of get into.
Okay, no, we'll get to it because WrestleMania.
At some point,
we're talking about WrestleMania now, so we're good for that.
There we go.
I once again, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. You're fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you for having me here. This is, first of all, we have some great beers here. Okay, we're gonna do a little cheap plug, and it is Founders Dirty Bastard. If anybody can see it over in Facebook land, right here.
Oh, yeah. Just do the promotion, guy.
Founders Dirty Bastard Scotch style ale. It is a delicious beer. It is dark beer, but it goes down very light. It's very good. I enjoy it very much. Am I still going to keep... Okay, so we got the cheap plug going on. Hopefully they send us some free beer. We also got our WWE Network sponsors. Are they sponsoring us? No, right? No? Oh, okay. No, okay. But, if you haven't seen any of the stuff yet, it is available on the WWE Network for $9.99. If you don't know now you know. And they were doing the free WrestleMania show, which is cool, too. And then we also got some Blue Moon First Peach Ale. Thank you to Blue Moon for supplying us with some tasty beverages as well.
So, just want to let you guys know that this and other episodes of TRS Intermissions will be coming soon, and just be sure to participate and enjoy, because all we have is time on our hands. That's all we have.
Time and my small junk. But continue, please.
So now we lead up to WrestleMania 32. We're for the big show. To me, everybody already was speculating and upset about, oh, this is a bad card. I don't like the way that they set it up. It's terrible. This is bullshit. What were your thoughts going in?
About everybody just complaining about the entire thing?
No, just WrestleMania itself.
Oh, just WrestleMania. Well, first of all, for my taste, it was a little too long. I felt it was a little bit too long, only because it distracts from the natural progression of every match, but not only the whole event, but towards the end, you kind of draw so much energy out of people. You have 101,000 people, contrary to popular reports, but
right.
I'll get into that at some other point. explaining what the difference is between gate and attendance.
Right.
But you have 100,000 people there just drawing energy, and by the time the main event hits, you're kind of just so tired. You just over it all. And this year it hit a little bit over the 45-minute mark. It was like 11:45.
Yeah.
The show was almost
I was
over.
even surprised that it went that long.
Well, they're on their network, so they could do whatever they want. It wasn't like it was on pay-per-view.
Exactly, right.
So you can do whatever you want. You could throw a show until 1 o'clock in the morning, and who gives a fuck, right?
I remember I went to 29, and when I was even sitting there live at 29, I was like, oh my God, this thing is still going on. Like, I was still shocked that that WrestleMania was on. But for this one, I thought it played about in two different ways. Number one, I think this year WWE wanted to give a lot of their wrestlers their moment. And that's all right. You can adjust the mic.
Okay,
It's fine.
yeah.
And I think secondly, because of where they were located at, they were given that flexibility to take overtime to do it. Because if they were more East Coast, they would have wrapped it up earlier. So since they were in Dallas, they had a little bit more
leeway to go about it. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean,
but they didn't have the restraints of pay-per-view either.
Like you said, yeah, they didn't have
last year
that.
they had it on pay-per-view where even though they were in California, they could have done another 6 hours if they wanted to.
Right.
Right? Is that how far they are behind? I don't know. What do I look like, a geologist? But they had another.
You
three
do
hours.
actually. You do
No,
actually.
I don't look like a geologist. Do I look like Randy Marsh to you, dude? No.
What a reference.
Maybe. Anyway, so they had, plenty of room to play around with, but because they were on pay-per-view, they couldn't really do that.
Yeah,
This
right.
year, they were straight on the WWE Network, so they could pretty much do whatever the hell they want. If they wanted to do a 7 or 8 hour show, they could have done it. Obviously, you're not going to do that, but they had the freedom to do whatever they wanted to do with their show without the constraints of pay-per-view.
So what was your take on just in a whole? I mean, I understand that the time was a bit extreme.
I don't think it was extreme. I don't think it was worthy for everybody to freak out about. But I do think it lasted a little bit longer than it should have just because of the main event. Because by the time you get to a main event,
Right.
and on top of that, I feel like they should have had Shane McMahon and Undertaker as the main event.
I did as
because
well.
that's one of those matches that it's I hate to say it's one of those sideshow matches where everybody wants to see what's gonna happen. So I feel like that still would have drawn energy out of the crowd as opposed to somebody like Triple H and Roman Reigns, where I think they put on a great match, but if it would have been the match before the main event, I think they would have had a better crowd than they did at the end.
I think since they already knew what the outcome of that match was going to be, I think that they pretty much decided that the better closing would be the Triple H one because, although the big shot was, of course, Shane coming off the top of that fucking cage.
Oh, did that happen?
That happened.
Did it?
Oh, it happened.
It's not like I saw it on everybody's Facebook the next morning. I call it the
Instagram,
the fall
Snapchat.
scene around the world is what I call it.
Yeah, it was that. It was that.
And even then, when it was, here's what makes me laugh the most. Even then, when something like that happened, and everybody was waiting for it to happen, Shane McMahon's gonna do some crazy shit. He jumps off the top of the cage, and what's the first thing that they do? They complain about it, and they say, "Oh, well, it would have been cooler if you didn't see the airbag under the commentary table, and the commentary table wasn't made out of foam."
You You know what?
Let me throw you off a 20-foot cell and see what the hell happens to you.
Exactly.
What logic is there behind that? Like, they want to protect their
They
people.
want somebody to die. That's
Until the day that somebody like maybe Fandango gets stabbed in the chest with a real knife. I don't think the wrestling fans are going to be happy.
I'm like, okay, you son of a bitch. Let me see you fucking jump from the top of that shit. Regardless if it's a foam table and an airbag.
Where's your logic?
Jesus Christ.
Really? Like, you just want to complain about everything, and then when you finally get the one thing you want, you still find something to complain about.
It's like getting the biggest Instagram hottie or actress that you can get, and you finally lay her down to the nastiest of dirty stuff you can do, and you go, her breath stink.
Yeah.
Her
You
breath
sound like
stink.
every one of my ex-wives. All you do is complain about everything.
By the way, I'm still looking for my third ex-wife, so I'm coming for you, nigga.
If anybody out there would like a piece of El Chorizo, please look me up
So
on
I gotta
Facebook at John Rondo.
no, look up John Rondo. So I gotta ask on Christian Mingle. I gotta ask you.
Black people meet.
I gotta ask you. So what do you think? I know you're a big New Day fan. So what do you think of their match?
First of all, let's talk about their entrance.
Oh, and people complained about that as well.
Oh, yeah, but them coming out of a goddamn cereal box.
Did you see the ingredients on
Oh,
the side?
totally. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I mean, the match, I feel, the whole match structure itself, I feel, could have gone a little bit better, and there's a reason why. We'll go into that in a little bit. But starting from the entrance, them coming out dressed up in Dragon Ball Z gear just killed me. You could tell that they're just out there to have fun. They're just out there to have a good time. Like, just at first they were put together as a trio that WWE knew nothing what to do with.
Right.
They had no idea, what are we going to do? And I'm sorry to be racial. What are we going to do with these three black guys?
Oh, no.
Like, they had no
it is
clue
official,
what to
yeah.
do with them. So they throw them all together like, you're going to be this New Day gimmick. You're going to do, the whole preacher. Big E's going to come out with the little freaking pañuelo in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means if anybody
yeah.
speaks Spanish. And you do a little
Towel.
Yeah, a little towel in his hands, wipe your sweat off and preach. That's what you're going to do. And they came out and said, maybe we're just going to kind of like stick our own little things in there here and there. And all of a sudden you have the New Day that we know now with the trumpet and the unicorns and the bootios.
You went from face to heel to face again, and it was not of creatives doing.
No,
This was,
not at all.
The WWE universe, which I hate saying, but the fans, you guys did that. Basically, you guys did all that. You modeled that, and you gave New Day what they are, and which it should be like that with everybody. That's
Right.
exactly what wrestling should be about. That match, like I still thought that it should have been for the belts.
Totally should have been for the
Yeah,
straps.
Yeah. But then the aftermath with the legends. Did you mark out?
I had my mark out moment, but at the same time, it was like you just had these guys come out and beat the tag team champions. You just had these guys come out and beat the tag team champions, and then come out and have a bunch of legends squash them in 2 minutes. And for me, that kind of, I don't know, that kind of devalues the tag team championships to me.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, okay, these guys beat the tag team champions. Sure, it's 4-on-3, whatever. Beat the tag champions, and now these guys just come out and squash them in 2 minutes.
Right.
Like, what was the whole basis behind that? You could have found anything else on the show to put these guys on. You put them on with the tag team champions in that match. For what?
Yeah, I agreed with
Just to get that little one nostalgia.
it was
moment.
it was a nostalgia moment, and it comes to find out that Batista was actually supposed to be on that billing as well.
Yeah.
He was supposed to take one of their spots, but due to Guardians of the Galaxy
And
schedule,
just him not wanting to do it ever again.
is that a good or a bad thing?
I don't know. I think Batista was one of those people that came up fast, and I guess his come up was his own burial, I guess you want to say.
Right.
But I think he contributed a lot to the business in the short amount of time that he was in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he was a hard worker. I think he was put over way too fast. But at his age, he was already 35 when he joined the business.
Right. It
You know
reminds
what
me,
I
he was
mean?
like the Diamond Dallas Page
Yeah,
of that shit.
Right. And for him to become as big as he did in that short amount of time, you got to give the guy some credit. You got to take your hat off to him. Yeah, everybody's going to say, he sucked Triple H's dick. Oh, yeah, Triple H's dick in his mouth. Yeah. But you know what? The guy went out there, did what he had to do. What? Here's my biggest gripe. If somebody comes up to you and says, we're going to put the strap on you, are you going to say no? I'm not ready. No, I can't take
No
the
one,
strap.
no one ever.
I
say
can't be
that.
champion. Are you nuts?
You'll never be able
I
to.
can't.
You'll never be able to grab the brass ring.
I'm not ready for the WWE Championship and the extra money that I'm gonna make when I'm WWE Champion
And the TV
and
shows that I'm gonna
pay-per-views.
do.
And I'm gonna you're gonna say hell yeah. All right, give me the strap. I'll figure out how to make it work. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. That's it.
Oh, what was your whole? I mean, there was a lot of matches on there, but the one match that I really want your whole opinion on is the AJ Styles Chris Jericho match.
So the AJ Styles and Chris Jericho match, we spoke about that a little earlier. My thing about that match was everybody again is saying AJ Styles was buried. He's this talent that he was in New Japan and he did so many great things, and now he has a stupid haircut and he's being buried by Chris Jericho. And this is my imitation of the internet wrestling community, because this is what you all of you assholes speak like.
I like that voice.
But my thing was, I feel there was a story to tell there, and but you're not gonna not put Jericho over. You know what I mean? And he's one of those people. If you've ever read any of his books or any interview he's ever done, he's one of those people that'll tell you when he retires, he wants to be ripped out of the ring. Like, he doesn't want to retire as this big guy that
He doesn't
goes over on everybody.
And
he
doesn't want
to do
pageantry of give me my retirement.
But he's one of those people when it comes to a story and what has to happen, he will do it because it makes sense.
Right.
So that thing with AJ Styles made sense. Why? Because everybody complained about it the night before. AJ Styles was buried by Chris Jericho. No, he's not. He's not a competitor anymore. And then 24 hours later, AJ Styles is the number one contender for a World Heavyweight Championship.
The only thing that I can say about that match is that, and I mentioned it on Twitter. It's probably the one thing that I said on Twitter is that both these men get better with age, like a fine wine and a champagne. But we can see who is the more experienced in that ring.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate to say it because Jericho used to do it with other wrestlers, but now you can see the changing of the guard because you can tell Jericho was out of pace with AJ. Like, AJ was, I mean, you see it. You seen it. I thought that the first match they had in Raw, it was a little bit off.
It was sloppy.
It was
sloppy because
the second match they had at SmackDown, I was like, it's a little better. But for this match, you could still, I could still see that. I said Jericho was not in his league for this night. Like, no. AJ is way, way phenomenal.
I hate that theme song. I'm so sorry.
Really?
Oh my God, I'm sorry, dude.
Oh, wow.
I hate to say it, but it's so repetitive.
Yup. Yeah.
And I don't think it fits his character in reality.
Well, his thing is that he's into like the Christian rap.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I just thought that Jericho, when it came to the pacing and the building of the match, he's a little bit out of the league with
it's not that
AJ.
He's out of the league. I'll tell you in my opinion, what it is. So you have this guy who was in New Japan for how many years and TNA for how many years, accustomed to one match style, and that is like get every move out there, get all of your moves out there, so you can get a big pop, big pop, big pop, big pop, big pop, like all these big pop moves. And then you have somebody like Jericho who's been working the WWE style for what did he come out in 1999? He's been working it for 17 years, and working the WWE style. And he knows how to slow down a match. He knows how to pick up the pace in a match, and so on and so forth. And the thing is, AJ is used to like doing all these moves and all this stuff that he's still getting used to how to pace a match the WWE way. Because again, Jericho's smart. That's why Jericho's never been injured really that much. Yes, he's had back problems. Yes, every wrestler has fucking back problems. I've had back problems.
I'm having back problems now from lifting this bottle
and I
of
spend I spend most of my time jerking off in my room. But all these guys
exclusive
and all these guys have back problems. But Jericho has never really had a serious injury where he put him away for months. And that's because he works smart and he knows how to slow down and he knows how to dictate the pace in a match. And AJ is still learning how to do that. And remember, AJ didn't spend time in NXT. He came up to the main roster immediately. So, he's still learning the ropes, but I feel like again, this Monday was a new pace to be set. It was a new taste in everybody's mouth. It was a new way to refresh everything and refresh the product. And we have Enzo and Cass back now. and on the main roster. We have Apollo Crews on the main roster, and we have AJ Styles as the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship.
All right, which we'll get to in a minute, but I just wanted to get a quick rundown for you when it came to WrestleMania and the whole. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal, you had Baron Corbin getting the over on that. He went out there. What was your thought on that?
Baron Corbin, if you haven't watched him in NXT, watch him. He was a face. At one point, he was a big face, and he became a heel again, and he is phenomenal as a heel, I think. The guy knows how to get heat. He knows how to be a dick.
I thought that's where he should have went in the first place.
And that's where he should stay
Right.
as a heel, because he's really good as a heel. And he was probably one of the best heels NXT had. And for them to bring him up and keep him kind of the same way.
Right.
And now we're going to see a bigger part of what Baron Corbin is on Raw. And he has a bigger selection of guys to work with. It's going to be phenomenal.
And I even like the way that they cut his promos. It's less than 30 seconds, done, boom, I'm out.
That's it. That's it.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Sorry, Roman, but that's the way it's supposed to happen.
That's it.
The triple threat match, the women's match for the now women's championship.
First
Thank
of all,
God
I'm
we
glad they got rid of that butterfly.
Yes.
It was
You could get a women's belt right now for $435 now at WWE Shop.
check it out. Cheap plugs. Please sponsor us.
What do you think of that match?
Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, 3 of the hardest workers. And I don't want to say 3 of the hardest workers that aren't male, because that's something that I wouldn't want to put forth as being sexist or anything. No, but they are 3 of the hardest workers that WWE has right now in general.
You think Paige is slacking a little bit now?
I think Paige had to take the backseat. That's my opinion. She just had to take the backseat because, again, it's one of those things where who knows 6 months from now what's going to happen.
I always found that it was odd that it's the 4 horsewomen and Paige.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like,
yeah. But again, it's one of those things where who knows where the story's going to go.
Right.
Because 6 months, 9 months from now, Paige comes back and gets on her heel shit against who knows who's going to be the champion at the time, or even as a face, get over as a face.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You never know where the story's going to go.
And I'm happy with the finish of that match because everybody wanted Sasha, which I wanted Sasha as well. But I was happy with the finish because of the way it was done.
Yeah.
The dirtiest player of the game was involved to make that finish happen.
And a lot of people don't see that. They don't see the story that's being told in the ring. They don't see that what they're doing is they're trying to build Charlotte's character as being the daughter of the dirtiest player in the game. But not only that, but building her own brand as Charlotte. Because once Ric Flair's gone, now she has to stand alone. But now she has her own character built to the point where she doesn't need Rick anymore.
Right.
And she's an amazing. I think she's way better off as a heel. Way better off.
And since you have the notes for this, so I'm going to give you your
Let's
2 minute to go with, and this is going to be about the Usos.
Huh.
So the floor is yours.
So we have the Usos versus the Dudleys. My thing with so I have a couple of things here that I'd like to say. I'm just gonna read off these cards, bro. We got a bunch of cards here that I'm just gonna read off, and we touch up on everything but that. So we have the Usos versus what's going on here?
I don't know,
okay.
my
Your dog's
dog,
chew toy. Can I borrow that later? I want to get in on that chew toy action. So you have the Usos versus the Dudleys. That first of all, I don't know what they're doing with the Dudleys. The whole table thing. We're not doing the tables, but we'll do the tables just to get ahead. I don't understand it. The one thing I will say though that I love is the bully angle. They're bringing a little bit of that Bully Ray gimmick to the Dudley boys, and it's amazing. I think Bully Ray, when he was in TNA, conquered that gimmick, and now that he's in WWE and they're giving it to both him and Devon as a collective, I think that's amazing. I just don't understand what they're going to do with the Usos in general as a team. I feel like the Usos could be so much more than just merchandise sellers and guys that just sell T-shirts because they have face paint on their face and the kids love them and all that gimmick stuff. I think they could be so much more. They're two talented guys, and it's funny because when I was sitting watching WrestleMania, my friend was talking about The Rock and his promo or whatever, and he was talking about people having WrestleMania kids. He's like, stop talking about having kids because everybody in the WWE is your family member. You know, shout out to Dennis out there.
By the way, can you tell the people that are listening right now and that's going to be listening later on, what was your attire for WrestleMania? What did you have on?
My friends hate me for this, and if Joey's watching, and I know he is, he hates me completely. So I had my fanny pack on because it's Fanny Pack History Month. Duh.
Hello.
I had the Zubaz black zebra stripe pants, which were
Fucking
amazing,
awesome.
and my Bullet Club shirt with some aviator sunglasses on, and my favorite possession in the world, the NWA World Heavyweight
Where the
Championship.
fuck did you get that? Me and Josie's boy said we looked at that. First of all, you carry it as a gentleman, as old gentlemen do.
Always folded.
Old gentlemen carry
That's
folded.
it.
Where did you get that?
I was online and I searched this website. Shout out to ajsbelts.com. You know, give me 10% off on my next purchase. I found it on there.
Nobody
No,
listens to this. There's only
okay.
like 3 people who listen to this shit.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have, how many people we have here?
6.
10 more?
Six
We
people.
got 6 and 10. So we have about 16 people watching this thing. So I went on this website and they were selling replica belts, but they sell used replica belts as well. So I always said, if I ever buy my first belt, it's going to be the NWA World Heavyweight Championship because that's my favorite belt in history.
Right.
It's just so much history behind that belt. And I found it on that website. I emailed the guy and said, how much is the belt? And he said, it's this much. And I was like, can I put it on layaway? Can I pay it off? And he said, sure, just send me whatever. And I started reading that there was like scam reports about this guy. I was like, you know what? We're going to try it. If the worst comes to worst, I lost $100.
Right.
And sure enough, 3 weeks later, I had my belt.
Fucking awesome. I see that. Look at Harley Race out there.
Harley Race.
I was
Harley
like, look
Race,
at him.
Dusty, Ricky
Dusty,
the Dragon,
oof.
Steamboat.
That's the belt.
Oh, man.
That is the belt.
You know?
You going to House of Glory tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely.
Can you bring that belt?
I will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shit
gonna
on
take
it.
a-
Shit on it tomorrow. So finally, let's get to the main event of WrestleMania.
Are we going to do the main event? Because I
Yeah,
have one more
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
One little
Finish
thing,
off and
real
then-
quick. So we had the Dudleys, and then the next night on Monday, because we can't leave out my boys, Big Cass.
Okay,
and
no.
Enzo
We're
Amore.
gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
Okay,
that.
cool. So
All
we'll get to that.
So finally, the main event. Your thoughts on the main event?
The main event of WrestleMania, which was
Yes.
Triple H and Roman Reigns. Triple H being my favorite wrestler of
The game. Every time you speak like Triple H, you have to put an extra in everything.
Here we go.
We're the authority, and nobody messes with the authority.
That was all right. That wasn't bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I got my Triple H down.
Next,
I am the game.
Okay,
you're gonna
so
do
we
my
had-
intro next time.
I should, yeah. We should. So the main event was Triple H versus Roman Reigns, and I thought, in my opinion, for what everybody says, oh, it's a shitty match. I thought it was good. The match was paced very well. Again, it was one of those matches. Even halfway through the match, I was like, the crowd is just losing energy because they've been sitting there for, God knows, 7 hours already. You know, just. Or what, 5 hours that they were sitting in the crowd, and it just sucks the energy out of you.
Yeah, it took the
You
air
try
out.
sitting anywhere for 5 hours through a
Exactly.
show and see what goes on. I was at the Foo Fighters concert for 5 hours standing up, and I was dying. You know, even though I love the Foo Fighters, I was dying.
gassed.
I was so gassed halfway in. You know, but I thought it was phenomenal. Triple H just he never ceases to amaze me. The guy's just phenomenal. He picks apart any match and just dissects everything. You have his psychology. If you ever get to see his psychology, his footwork, everything is just on point. The guy's like a clear student of the game.
Yeah, it's one of my top 5 wrestlers of all time.
And that's
Top 5. And I just gotta know, best match, worst match.
Mania, best match to worst match.
No, just what was your best and what was your worst?
So the best was, oh man, I'd have to say that Shane McMahon and Undertaker match had me in.
Yeah,
Had
best?
me in, yeah. It had me in because to see somebody like Shane, who's not even a wrestler, never have been, and maybe I might be biased, but I got to see Shane McMahon versus Kurt Angle at 2001 King of the Ring
Lucky
live,
bastard.
and
You
to see,
bastard.
I mean, the guy has not lost a step,
Yeah.
and he's not even like a
A
legit wrestler,
yeah.
you know, him versus, and it's always good to see the Undertaker. I mean, the guy, that's another guy who never loses a step.
Right.
As far as the worst match goes, I have to say Ryback and Kalisto.
As he says that while taking a swig of beer.
Don't feed me more. Don't feed me more. I've had enough, please. I've had enough. Don't feed me more.
You know what sucks is that I'm such a Rybacker. Even I have to say, like, ugh. This is just
I'm
like,
full, please, for the love of God. Don't feed me more.
And we go into the Raw after Mania.
The Nexus? Oh, sorry, the Nexus. That's me going back to
We-
NXT.
Oh, that's all right. After a couple of beers,
The NXT Exodus.
There we go. That's a good save. There you
Yeah, the NXT Exodus. You had Apollo Crews coming up, which I did not see coming. I didn't see Apollo
Neither
Crews
did I.
coming up. I had no idea. All of a sudden, Apollo Crews is next on Monday Night Raw, and I'm kind of sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? Did they call him up already? Shit. Okay. Let's do this. So Apollo Crews had his match. Who did he go against? I don't even fucking remember. Was it Fandango?
Tyler Breeze. No,
Was
Tyler
it Fandango?
Breeze. Yeah,
No, it's Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, it was Tyler Breeze, which is a great fit because they had actually really good matches in NXT before. So if you're gonna bring somebody up, that's who you. That's who you
Right.
bring
And
up.
Tyler Breeze is one of those people that and again, oh, Tyler Breeze is getting buried. He was so amazing in NXT. But Tyler Breeze is one of those talents where he can work with anybody. He's just really that good. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe a year, 2, 3 down the line where he finds his niche. Because even nobody came in as world championship material.
Right.
Look at Triple H. Triple H was somebody, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, doing the bow and shit. And then he did his own thing.
Got into DX, and then after the whole curtain call shit, got buried for
Yeah,
a long time. Yeah, for guys, 2 years to be buried at WWE
in
is
in a doghouse.
In a
eating shit.
doghouse is a long
You
time.
know?
It wasn't until after Shawn left, and they needed a revival that he was given the reins to take DX back over. You know what? Go on the fucking network. You
you'll
figure
see
it out.
it. You'll
yourself.
see it. You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. But in any case, since you mentioned that, it's the same thing that goes with the Zack Ryder thing.
Yeah,
The whole
totally.
the whole model. Zack Ryder wins the ladder match at Mania, which was amazing. Nobody knew about it. It happened.
huge
It
pop.
was huge pop. It was fucking cool as shit. He had his WrestleMania moment. Come to Raw, got into the match with Miz, which by the way, a lot of you guys don't give him the credit he deserves, but Miz is actually a fucking he's a legit worker.
I want to
and
say,
I give him the biggest credit that he gets because the guy came into wrestling. He came into just reality TV in the world saying, I'm going to be a wrestler. And he did it.
But here's the funny thing that people don't know about The Miz. Before he was on The Real World, he was already in the indies doing his thing. He
Right.
wasn't big, but he was already wrestling, and a lot of people give him shit because, he only became famous because of the
No.
Reality Network or Real TV or whatever, The Real World. But guess what? If somebody came up to you and gave you the same opportunity, would you not take it, or would you sit back and say, I'm not ready? No. Fuck
How
that
many
shit.
guys that you know who were in the indies or wherever the fuck they came from said, I'm going to be known as The Miz? In Real World, he told them, I'm a wrestler. Oh, what's going to be your name? I'm The Miz. He went into Tough Enough. I'm The Miz. Went into WWE. The Miz.
He lives the gimmick.
He lived, but they accepted it.
Right.
They always wanted, you're not going to be The Miz anymore. You're going to be Miz Mackey and the Wizard or some shit. No, he's The Miz.
Right.
So you got to give the man not only his dues, he went through whatever gamut he went through with tag team matches, whatever the case may be. Look at the titles he's held already.
Let's tell a little story about The Miz. So The Miz was still, and I've read this a lot, and he's even said it, The Miz was still wet behind the ears when he came into WWE, and JBL at that time was the locker room leader, and JBL did not like The Miz and said, you got to get dressed in the hallway to The Miz. And The Miz, for however long he had to go
It was
through,
about 6 to 8 months that he
had to get dressed in the hallway like like a dog. But you know what? He did it, and he did it every day, and he still came in and did his work and did what he had to do in the ring. And the guy's a great worker. For me, the guy's one of the best heels that WWE has right now. They put that gimmick on him, and you know what? It might have not been the greatest gimmick, but he carried that gimmick through, that whole Hollywood thing. He carried it through, and now he's finally getting the spotlight that he's starting to come back up again. And who better to do it with him and Zack Ryder?
Yeah, and Zack had his WrestleMania moment, which I generally see that this is what he wanted. He's been so committed to the business. He's been a loyal member of the company. He's a guy. He's one of the he's the locker
Never
room
asked
guy.
for his release.
Never asked for
none of that.
anything. And by the way, to all you douches who sat there and said, "Well, you know what happened? Zack needs to leave the company now so that they recognize what they lost. He's a good worker and he needs a belt." Okay, so he's gonna leave a six-figure salary. Leave a six-figure salary. Excuse me. So he can go chase a belt. Oh, he needs to go to TNA. Okay, so you want him to cut his salary in half.
Or maybe not even get paid.
Less. Exactly.
Or maybe not even
just
get a
for
paycheck.
a belt. Like, really? Let's be real. Oh, Dolph Ziggler, he needs to leave the company and maybe go to TNA where he could be a champion. Okay, he'll be a champ over there for maybe $25,000 where he's not a champ and he's making $300,000. Let's think about that for a moment.
So here's my opinions on the two. So you have, and I'm glad you brought Dolph Ziggler up. So you have Zack Ryder, who I feel like Zack Ryder had made his own gimmick and taken that gimmick further, but I feel like there's more to him than just the bro from, Strong Island or whatever it is. Like, I feel there's a lot more to him, and he just hasn't found his niche yet. But now we get into Dolph Ziggler, who was red hot maybe, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 or 4 years ago. And now he's kind of like, I feel like he's kind of stagnant.
I think
he's kind of just tired and he doesn't want to, do it maybe he just doesn't have it anymore.
No, I think with him is that he knows where the money's at right now. He knows that right now he has a movie coming out. He knows that it's actually fun to still hear the fans want him to get over, which I still think is going to happen. And I still think that he can be comfortable with getting whatever matches he's going to get, because everybody likes the anticipation. Maybe it's going to happen for him. I think that's what it is. But I also go to the point where he knows where his bread is buttered. He has a stand-up career. He's or trying to. He's getting into the movies, and he's enjoying to be a wrestler. So this is and he's great at what he does. The one thing that I'm waiting for is Shawn Michaels to come out to say, "Listen, dude, stop stealing my shit. Stop stealing my fucking gimmick. You're doing a little bit too much."
How about you go back to fucking that locker room and get some new gear? How about
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit too much now.
But that's the thing. Like, we've seen it. Like, don't be the Shawn Michaels. Be Dolph Ziggler, man. Just own the gimmick.
I think it's actually cool because that's what it'll tie into. Maybe that Shawn comes back and is
and they were talking about that.
Yeah.
Remember when he was? Oh no, sorry, that was somebody else.
No.
That's no longer with us. Garrison Cade.
Oh,
but
sorry,
yeah, HB Cade.
And that's what I'm saying. And that could actually work going the same way with
Maybe,
Ziggler.
but it's kind of gimmicky for me. Like, let the guy be him. Like,
Yeah.
Just be you. Don't be.
And I think he's gotten to a point where he's having fun with what he's doing.
Right. And I
He's got
understand
the
that.
swerve.
But
He has all that shit.
and I love him, and I think he's a great talent. But be you. Don't be Shawn Michaels number 2. Now you have the super kick. Now you have the sweet chin music in your repertoire and the rocker bottom. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
So what was the biggest highlight on Raw this week for you?
Do you want me to say it?
Do you want me to play it for you?
Do it.
Oh, okay. Let me find it for you.
Do it.
Yeah, because I know. Is this it?
This is it. So good.
My name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide star.
Let me tell you something. I remember when I started watching NXT when it changed from the whole fucking the contest.
Oh, that stupid game show thing.
Right. And I remember when they changed and they formed into the whole thing, whatever it was, right? I remember when Enzo first came out. He walked through the ramp and he was used as a jobber for that time. But when they gave him the mic, I said, this fucking guy got it. He got it. Like, he understood. Listen, I'm going to work my ass off in the ring, but I know what's going to get me over. When I heard him, and that was his prolific line, I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud. Yo, and for them to, I didn't even think they would ever think they would put him and Cass
it was
together.
one of those things where I was like, are they ever going to do it? Probably not. It's going to be one of those things where, are they ever going to do it?
Because Cass had his own thing going for himself. It was a good thing going for him. He was building up in NXT. It looked like he was going to have his own run. To put them together, that's one of those magic
known
moments.
each other for a while.
Yeah, but it's one of those
they
magic
just
moments.
Blended organically. And when I first saw them come out together and they started doing the whole Enzo and Big Cass gimmick, and I'm just like, this guy is nasty on the mic. And he comes out and he's like, if we had time for every time we got beat up in high school, we'd have 0 time. Like, where do you come up with that shit? Like, it's phenomenal. And he's just a beast on the mic. And they finally came out on Raw.
Well, first of all, they were chanting for them at Mania.
Yeah.
The whole
How you
stadium
doing?
was chanting for them. Same thing for Bailey. Shout out for Bailey for that too. They've been shouting
Bailey.
Yes.
That's my bae. Bailey.
So, as for Raw in a whole, at the end, when you look at it, the Raw after Mania, what was your thoughts of everything?
Oh, I loved the entire thing, and that was the biggest highlight for me was Enzo and Cass coming out and doing that.
AJ being the number one
I thought
contender?
again, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, totally." That whole last main event match was flawless.
Right.
It was probably one of the best matches I've seen this year, besides Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. But these guys, the main event was amazing. I feel like the whole Raw was a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to set this up for the year now, and this is what's going to happen, and everything is going to start new. And I think it's a phenomenal idea. I think it's great because now we have a refreshed product that we're trying to do, and it's going to be new. It's going to be a new WWE from here out. Obviously, you're going to have your still, maybe if Randy Orton comes in, we'll have Randy Orton versus Cena one more time.
Don't even say that.
Randy Orton versus Cena.
7.
Just don't say that.
The rebuttal.
By the way, quickly before I start closing out, what was your thoughts about the Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family WrestleMania?
First of all, seeing The Rock come out with the flamethrower. I used to be the biggest Rock mark when I was a kid, and he comes out with the flamethrower. He comes out with the fucking flamethrower, and they're like, "What?" Vince is sitting in the back.
What can we do to get the Rock over?
They're like,
Give him a flamethrower.
"Why?" And then big ROCK and lighting it on fire. Why? Why did that happen? And then you're sitting there and you're like, "Oh fuck! Who's not on the show? Who's not on the show that needs to get on the show?" The Wyatts. And then the Wyatts come out. And then
Oh my.
and then you're sitting there like, oh my god, this can only go one way. Oh, the Wyatts.
But
are gonna
I'm
get
grateful that
buried.
he tried to put them over, but
He did,
his
but-
putting them over is worthless to anybody who's
totally.
not like over 40 because, because
And
nobody cares.
But the thing is that even Jericho said it himself. The Rock is a good talent to have out there, yes. But the thing is, the dynamic with The Rock is you put him out there because you want to draw people in, but The Rock is honestly, in my opinion, The Rock is not somebody that you would want to use to get younger people over.
Yeah, he's the like
not.
Josie's boy says, he's Vince's safety net.
That's it.
For the 30+.
That's
what
it.
it is.
They wanted to have 101 or 100 some odd thousand people crammed into this fucking little tin can arena, and no, I'm kidding. It's huge, but. Like my dick. No, it's not that big. It's not impressive. Please don't even bother looking.
It's better on camera.
Oh yeah, totally. I have angles and lighting.
Yeah.
I have a studio just for that.
Just for
But,
that. He has makeup artists and everything.
Everything. It's great.
It's almost like Cloverfield. You got that
it's
Cloverfield.
actually like maybe a $20,000 production that I have just for dick pics. But
ladies, be ready.
be ready. They're coming.
There it comes.
And no pun intended.
See you. Yeah, anyway.
No pun intended. But you had The Rock come out, and it's kind of like, well, all right, like how 100,000 people. Yes, I get you want to cram all these people in there. The Rock is coming out, but you could have done something else besides just. He could have been that fourth person in the whole League of Nations thing. Like,
Yeah.
You know why I have to bring down the Wyatts? The Wyatts have such a dynamic that even at NXT you kind of stand back and they're kind of like, you kind of just get drawn in and just like
Automatically.
you get
Yeah, it's
mesmerized.
it's
Dude,
automatically.
You've been to live shows, right?
Yeah.
You've seen the Wyatt's entrance.
Yeah.
You sit there, you have chills. It's almost like
automatic.
dude.
Even the Undertaker's entrance does
I get
that
the
to you.
Undertaker's entrance and I get chills.
Yeah,
I got
it's
to see him at
automatic.
the Barclays and chills ran down my spine. And I will say the only other time that I had something like that was when the Wyatts came out.
Yeah.
Because the lights shut off and all the little fireflies, as they like to call it, come on. And you just get mesmerized into it. Bray Wyatt is that person that when you were a kid and you got mesmerized into wrestling, it was characters like that.
Yeah.
And they just don't know what to do. They have no clue what to do with these guys.
Yeah.
Even like I don't know what it is. I don't know if they don't understand their dynamic. I don't know if they don't understand Bray Wyatt's dynamic, but they just don't know what to do with these guys. And I think they're phenomenal workers. Luke Harper, to be a big guy of his size and just the things that he does in the ring.
Yeah.
And he's like
another indie guy who
he's like Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
And Brody Lee
Brand
tied
Bro-
in one person.
Oh no, man. Yeah. Bruiser Brody and shit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like Bruce Brody. Yeah, I said Brody. That was his name.
That's
But,
another guy.
My boy from Rochester, Luke Harper, who, little side story, actually went to high school with one of my friends.
Yeah.
And they used to smoke weed together, but that's besides the point. So
Why did you expose this man as a weed smoker? Like, what did you do?
like, it's not like he does it anymore. They got drug testing and stuff like that. He probably does it still, but he did, But I'm just, he's phenomenal in the ring. Eric Rowan is another person. He's a pretty good freaking worker,
And he does a phenomenal job of helping.
And
people
Bray
over.
Wyatt is just amazing in the ring as he is on the mic. He writes his own promos. He does the entire thing, and they don't know what to do with this guy. It's like, are you kidding me?
What do you think? Or just when we wrapping it up right now, because we're about a hour 30 in.
Oh, all right.
Really?
Yeah,
You didn't?
wow.
You ever noticed that?
It went past. No, it went past pretty quick.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, through it all, just in a minute, what do you think is the future for WWE right now?
I think right now they're gonna have a lot of the NXT guys, building up the NXT guys, building up the younger roster because they had so many slews of injuries just going out, and then now you're gonna have a lot of the injured guys coming back, and it's gonna be a whole new landscape. You're gonna have a bunch of new challengers. You're gonna have all these things that you just never thought. Who knows if we'll get to see Rollins versus AJ?
Yeah.
And those things,
We're wrapping it up right now, guys. Give out your social media to my boy, Rondo.
On Instagram at Rondo, King of Wrong Style. On Facebook at John Rondo. On Twitter at The John Rondo. And on Snapchat at El Chorizo J Rondo.
Make sure you guys follow me, as always, on
Please.
Facebook, the Regular Season Sportscast, the Regular Season Sports on Instagram. You get me on RWJ Santy at Twitter. Make sure you get me on Snapchat at WaterbedRed RW. This is going to be on the YouTube page. Get an exclusive at the Regular Season Sportscast. Let me tell you guys, it's been fun. Yo,
Yes.
my man
Thank you for
Rondo,
having
he
me,
brought
man.
the
I'm-
beers. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
I
And
did.
shout out to Cesaro for making this comeback this week.
Woo!
We didn't even talk about
My
that.
man, Cesaro.
That's the guy.
killing it.
We're going to close you out with Shinsuke Nakamura. For all you guys who feel uncomfortable about his whole thing,
Oh my
Listen
God,
to-
he's so fabulous.
my bitch,
Shinsuke Nakamura.
I'm like, bitch, I scratch your
Oh
eyes
my
out
God.
and I elbow you in the
Look
dick.
at those knees.
We out of here. Latest.
Goodbye.
The Regular Season Sportscast